Imagine an army that didn't fight with bullets, but with paint, sound, and illusion. A unit so secret that its existence was hidden for nearly 50 years. An army of artists, actors, and sound engineers who tricked the Nazis into believing thousands of tanks were rolling across Europe, when in reality, there was nothing there at all. This is the unbelievable true story of the Ghost Army, a World War II deception unit that saved tens of thousands of Allied lives, not by firing weapons, but by creating shadows. In 1944, as Allied troops pushed deeper into Nazi-occupied Europe, deception became as valuable as firepower. The U.S. Army formed a top-secret unit, the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops. But this was no ordinary division. Instead of hardened combat veterans, the Ghost Army was filled with artists, architects, fashion designers, and sound engineers. Their mission? To trick the German military into believing Allied forces were in places they weren't. It sounded insane. But the stakes were life or death. The Ghost Army's weapons were inflatable rubber tanks, fake artillery, and even dummy aircraft. At a glance, they looked real, but up close, you'd discover they were just air-filled props. But visual tricks were only half the story. Sound engineers rigged massive speakers on trucks and blasted pre-recorded noises, rumbling tanks, marching boots, shouted commands loud enough to be heard 15 miles away. To complete the deception, soldiers posed as generals, spread false rumors in bars and cafes, and even drove jeeps in endless loops to suggest entire divisions were moving through towns. One mission alone could save thousands of Allied soldiers by luring German forces away from real battlefronts. In September 1944, the Ghost Army pulled off one of their boldest operations near Metz, France. The Germans were convinced 2 U.S. divisions were preparing to attack. In reality, it was only a few hundred men with rubber tanks and loudspeakers. The ruse worked. The German command shifted forces away, allowing real Allied troops to break through elsewhere. But deception came with danger. If the Nazis ever realized they were facing an illusion, the Ghost Army could be slaughtered in minutes. Unlike regular soldiers, they carried almost no real weapons. Their defense was secrecy. Their battlefield was the mind. The unit's most daring deception came in March 1945, as U.S. forces prepared to cross the Rhine River into Germany. The Ghost Army staged an elaborate fake crossing, complete with inflatable tanks, fake artillery flashes, and massive sound effects. While the Germans focused on the Phantom Army, the real Allied divisions crossed elsewhere, catching the enemy completely off guard. Historians later estimated that this deception alone saved tens of thousands of lives. By the end of the war, the Ghost Army had staged more than 20 full-scale battlefield deceptions. Their efforts misled the Germans again and again, protecting Allied soldiers and hastening the end of the war. Yet their story remained classified for decades. Members of the unit went home quietly, unable to tell anyone how they'd fought the war without firing a shot. Only in the 1990s did the U.S. government finally declassify the Ghost Army's missions. By then, many of its members were famous in other fields like fashion designer Bill Blass and photographer Art Kane. The Ghost Army proved that war is not only won with bullets, but with creativity, deception, and imagination. They were soldiers and artists, heroes and tricksters. And though their story was hidden for decades, today we finally honor them for the lives they saved. So next time you hear about World War II, remember, sometimes the most powerful weapon is illusion. If this story amazed you, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more untold stories of history's hidden heroes. You never know what secrets might still be waiting in the shadows.